We're live! Hey everybody! Okay, so first things first, if you're watching on the replay, I do want to let you know that clicking that bell notification next to the subscribe button, that's the best way to... Ooh, my thing is making noises. Wait 1 second. Okay, if you ring that little bell, that's how you get notifications for the channel. So if you're like, man, I wish I'd been there for the live stream, but I wasn't because I didn't know it was happening, then clicking the bell to get notifications is the best way to go. And then otherwise, if you're watching on the replay, we're gonna hang out for a little bit as always until people get here, and then once we have a few people here as they're getting their notifications, then we'll get started cooking. But tonight we're making fish tacos, and I see we have some comments already. Oh, Natalie's here. Natalie says, can't wait. Hi, Natalie. Good to see you. And as people come on, say hi, let me know you're here, tell me what's going on, how your day is going. I also have my tablet down here. That's what was making noises earlier. But this is here so I can see your comments as well as seeing them up here on the screen, especially once I start cooking. Okay, let's see. Oh, Jenny99 says, hi, Sarah. Hello. Nita is here. Hi, Nita. Oh, it's Jennan's birthday today. Very exciting. Happy birthday. Susan says hello. Hi, Susan. Okay, so we're starting to get some people. This is good. I feel like I haven't been on here in a while for a live stream because it has been a while. So I'm really excited for this because we missed the live stream last month. Last month was crazy. I had a lot of work things going on, like a lot of things outside in the community, around doing things, traveling and stuff like that. So I wasn't able to make the live stream happen. I didn't ever announce it because I was like, oh, well, I'll just do it next week. And then it was like, oh no, it's not gonna work now. And then, you know, things caught up and I was like, well, you know, we'll just wait till May. Because I haven't missed one of these in like a year and a half or 2 years or something. So I figured you guys would forgive me if I missed it one time. Oh, Nita says, I'm on my way home from work on the bus, so when I get to my stop, I may not be on for a few minutes until I get home. I don't want to trip. Yes, safety first. Safety is the most important thing. Take care of yourself, and if you have to dip out for a little bit, it'll be okay, because we'll be here waiting for you, and anything you miss, you can catch when the replay gets uploaded. There's a hair here on my phone. Okay, there we go. Oh, I need to get my water, too. It's kind of hot in my house right now because I haven't had the air conditioning on. This time of year, when we're getting into springtime, I really try to delay turning on the AC as long as possible because I'm like, once I turn it on, there's no going back. I'm not gonna be able to stand the heat. And it's really hot in here today. It's like in the mid 80s outside, and so Fahrenheit. Obviously, if it was Celsius, we would not be alive. And I probably, well, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't have held out, but especially because the live stream with cooking and everything, I was like, I cannot be burning up. I'm gonna be like red as a beet. So I gave in and turned it on for you guys and for me. Oh, Jenin says since April and May are big flower months, they've been working hard. I bet, I didn't think about that, but I guess, yeah, there's definitely seasons to not only when the flowers are growing, obviously, but when people are wanting flowers. 40s and rainy in Maine, says Natalie. Well, that's definitely different. It was pretty cool here yesterday. I had some other work plans, things I was going to do. This week, I'm not doing as many event things, so it's more like I have my day and I have things I need to get done, and maybe I have calls or things like that, but I have a lot of like flexible time where I can just kind of do what I need to do. So yesterday, I ended up doing a lot of garden stuff because I was just going to go out in the morning and do like a little bit before I started on some other work I wanted to get done, but then it was really cool and overcast. I was like, this is the day, I'm going to do it, which is good because today, super hot and awful. Yeah, Jenin, I remember your flower delivery guy. I don't forget. I shouldn't say that because I probably will forget lots of things, but I haven't forgotten that. 70s and humid in NYC, says Nita. My hair hates the humidity. Mine too. It gets like even right now, I mean, it's in a ponytail, so you can't tell, but if it was down, it would be pretty frizzy. Okay, we got a few people on. I guess we'll go ahead and get started on cooking things, and then as more people join us, we can catch them up on what's happening, and of course, as always, people can watch the replay to see what they missed. But we're doing fish tacos tonight. Now, we've done tacos on the live stream a few times over the past couple years, but we've never done fish tacos before, and this is something I've been experimenting with here recently, just to switch things up, because it's not something that I have been making, so I thought we should do it. So I've made it a couple times. I think I've got it figured out, so we're gonna make it now on the live stream. So the first thing we're gonna do is get some fish marinating. Now, I have cod here, but any kind of white flaky fish would probably work fine. And we're just gonna get some stuff on here. And I don't have measurements for anything because I'm just kind of making it as I go, but I'll tell you what I'm doing. So I'm putting in some salt. I'm gonna sprinkle some of that in on the fish. And then we're gonna do some lime juice. I think 1 lime will be enough, but I have a second one here because this is a pretty big lime. But we will see. Just rolling it on the cutting board. If you roll it on the cutting board, that can help kind of soften up the inside and get the juices going. So that's a good tip. And then I'm going to cut it in half, and we'll see how much we get out of here. Hopefully 1 is enough. Oh, yeah, I think 1 might be enough. So you could use any kind of citrus for this. I know you guys can't really see what I'm doing, but it's pretty basic. I'll hold it up here like this. You could use any kind of citrus for this, would be fine. Lemon would work fine, but I really like lime for this. So that is what we are doing. Ooh. I'm squirting lime juice everywhere. Okay. There we go. I think that's pretty good. It'd be easier with 2 hands, but I want you to see what I'm doing, but I do not feel like turning the camera down right now because that's a whole other thing. We'll get there when we get there, right? Okay, so that's a lot of lime juice out of that 1/2. So we'll get the second half in here. Now you don't have to do this, but I think it makes a difference. You know, any way we can add flavor to our food is what we want to do. That's a big thing, especially when people are trying to eat healthier or incorporate, I don't know, more vegetables and things into their meals or whatever. A lot of times people forget flavor. And so then they're like, well, healthy food doesn't taste good. And it's like, well, you didn't add any flavor to it like you would other foods. So anytime we can boost flavor, I think it's a good thing because it just makes our food more yummy. All right, we've got the lime juice in there. Now my hands are covered in lime juice, so I'm gonna go rinse off my hands and toss these in the compost. I guess I need to get myself a compost bowl maybe for the live stream. Okay. So we've got our lime juice in there, and then I'm gonna put in a little bit of olive oil. We'll drizzle that in. Just a little bit. Okay, that's fine. Just a little plug. Ooh, that made a loud sound. Sorry, guys. Okay, so we've got that in there. Now I'm just gonna kind of flip this around and make sure we're getting, you know, everything coated and everything we just put in there. And then we're getting this started first so it can sit and hang out while we are working on other things. And the thing about fish is you don't have to marinate it for very long, so it's fine to just like do it now right before we go, and then it'll sit here while we're doing the other stuff, and then it'll be ready. Okay, I'm gonna go pop this in the fridge and wash my hands so I don't have raw fish things on my hands. Put that there. Okay. All right, I'm back. So now that we've got the fish marinating, we're gonna start making our tortillas. I got a little bit of something on the cutting board. Let me wipe that up. Okay, ready to rock and roll. So, I like to make tortillas. You don't have to make tortillas. You don't have to do anything I do. This is just for fun. So, you know, if you're interested in making tortillas, I think it's a fun thing to do, and I'm gonna show you how I do it. Okay, so we have, first things first, we have our corn flour. Ta-da! So this is the corn flour that I use here. You can find it, a lot of times it'll be in like the Hispanic food section, but it doesn't, I don't know, it might be somewhere else in your store. But you just get this, and it has the instructions on the package, exactly how to do it. So we've got this in the bowl, and then all we have to do is add some water. So, got my Brita pitcher over here. And we're gonna add in our water to this. And some people might be like, why do you want to make tortillas? Well, like I said earlier, I do think it's fun. But also, I think they taste a lot better. I just really enjoy them compared to the ones you get at the store. Also, a lot of the ones at the store, I don't 100% love the ingredients, or sometimes it's hard to find what you want. Especially corn tortillas, I think are a lot of times, at least for me, harder to find. A lot of times I can find flour tortillas. And also, it's hard to find the size you want. When you make them yourself, you can make them whatever size. So usually with like softer tortillas, not like hard taco shells, they're huge, and I want like small taco size. So that's another reason why I make them. Okay, I'm gonna go toss this to the side. And we're gonna mix up our dough here, and then once we've got this mixed up, we'll flip the camera down and I'll show you more of what I'm doing. But right now I'm just mixing. So let's look at comments. Oh, Susan says, I bought a lot of herbs last week, then it snowed here in Michigan. I'm guessing you mean herbs to plant in your garden? That's not good. We're definitely, well, I wouldn't say definitely. I guess we could have a, you know, a freak weather occurrence, but we're out of snow time here in Virginia at this point. We didn't have that much snow this winter. We've got a couple snows, but nothing really, really great this year. Oh, Nita loves fish tacos. I want to come over now. Yeah, I wish I could, you know, share my food with you all after the live stream, but unfortunately, that's not how this works. Oh, Nita was in Tennessee for 4 days. It was wonderful, and I didn't want to leave. That's fun. Were you there for a fun trip or like a work trip, or if you care to share? No pressure. Nita asked, can tortillas be made from something that's not corn flour? So yeah, you could also make like wheat flour tortillas. So you can make, yeah, I feel like you either see corn or like flour tortillas. So you could use white flour or you can make whole wheat tortillas. I've done that before. And it's a similar process. You just got to find a recipe for it. But you can still use the tortilla press and everything like I'm going to show you guys today. Okay, so we've got our dough now all mixed up. And I'm gonna put this out on the cutting board, and then I'll flip the camera down and you guys can see more of what I'm doing. So I've got so many things set up here in the background, so I'm just trying not to make a mess of everything. I think I can move my knife over here maybe. Scoot the tortilla press over. Woo, okay. We're gonna make this work. I just have too much stuff. Okay. Here we go. Let's see if we can get this down in one motion and if it's the right camera angle. I don't love that. Okay, let's turn maybe this way a little bit or move in a little bit. Sorry if anyone's getting motion sick. Let me move the bowl out of the way. I feel we're crooked. That's part of the problem. I usually don't have this much trouble. Okay. All right, let's scoot this way a little bit. We'll get there. Okay, I think we're good. So, put this bowl in the corner. Okay, so we've got our dough here. And the first thing I'm going to do is kind of just like smush / roll this out. So then we can cut it into sections. We're just going to try to keep it pretty even. See? Dana99 says, I recently bought Kai Hibbard's book and it's a real page turner. I have not read her book, but I'm familiar with her. For those of you who don't know, she was a contestant in one of the early seasons of The Biggest Loser, and she's been very vocal about her negative experience and how she really struggled with disordered eating afterwards and a lot of other things. I've seen some interviews with her, but I have not read her book. Oh, Nita went to visit her niece in Tennessee. How fun. I've been to Tennessee once or twice, but not for any long amount of time. I had a friend that got married out there a few years ago. Okay. This is a pretty, I think we're pretty even. So you can't quite see the whole thing in the frame, but you get the idea. So now I'm going to divide this. How many tortillas do I want to make? I guess I usually make 30, so we'll just do that. So we're going to divide this into, how do I want to do it? We'll do 5 equal sections. So I'm just going to try to eyeball it with my fingers here. It's pretty close. And then I've got this little dough cutter thing, so I'm just going to go down and cut us into 5 pieces. A little more like there and there. Okay, and so now we have 5. So now I'm going to cut each of these in half again. Another thing too with this is you can make, however many you need. Okay, so 5 again, and then I'm going to cut each of these into 3 sections and set them to the side. So 1, and these end up being about even. Sometimes you get some that are a little bigger, a little smaller than another one, but it's not a big deal. I'm going to scoot us a little bit that way. Okay, let me see if I can get some comments done while I'm just cutting here. Where did I leave off? Oh, Jenin says the book's called Losing It, a fictional retelling of her experience on the show. Huh. Interesting. That's not what I would have expected. Natalie says, any advice on introducing fats back into my diet? I got my gallbladder removed a week ago, and I'm kind of nervous to eat normally again. Okay, good question. Well, first off, the normal disclaimer, this video is just for general information purposes, obviously. This doesn't replace advice from a dietitian or a doctor or nurse that you're working with. Information isn't intended to treat, diagnose, or cure any condition. This is just general information. So for those of you who don't know, your gallbladder is important for digesting fat. So your gallbladder holds bile, and bile is what your body needs to digest the fat when you eat it. So when you eat fat, your body knows that, and then it sends a little signal, and then your gallbladder squeezes out the bile into your small intestine when the fat comes in there from the stomach, from whatever you ate, and then the bile's there to emulsify the fat so that you can absorb it and it doesn't stay separate from all the liquid and stuff and everything else that you ate. So that's kind of the basics. So after you have your gallbladder removed, then you have to be on a low-fat diet for a little bit. I would hope, though this is not always the case, that you would have seen a dietitian. I'm going to go wash my hands real quick, and I'll be back. We'll continue this. Okay. I'm also going to turn you guys to face me again. Try to get ourselves straightened out here. And if you're just joining us, say hello in the chat. We would love to talk to you. Okay. We're pretty good. Continuing the pause on the gallbladder discussion, what I'm going to be doing now is taking all these little cut pieces and rolling them into little discs so then we can put them in the tortilla press. So we're going to start that now. Oh, Natalie says, I have an appointment with my dietitian soon, wondering your thoughts. Okay, good. So, I don't work with people who have their gallbladder removed. That's not kind of what I do, my everyday work. But your dietitian will probably give you a plan of some sort of when to introduce things. And some of it's going to be individual, just because everyone heals a little bit differently. So I can't give you an exact date, but hopefully whoever you're working with will be able to give you more of a timeline, because that's probably what they're doing all the time. But generally it's just introducing fat slowly. And, so at first you'll be in a very low-fat diet just as your body is healing. But then over time, you'll get back to eating normally again. And I can understand being scared for sure, because though I've not experienced myself, I've heard that gallbladder pain is quite painful. So I'm sure if you were experiencing any of that before your surgery, you're probably like, that's not a fun experience. But now that your gallbladder is gone, it would be more just like getting your body back up to being able to digest that fat. So what happens for a lot of people, so that duct usually in most cases stretches back out and almost creates like a false gallbladder, and you're able to get the bile going back in there eventually. I know a few people personally who have had theirs removed, and they had to be on the low-fat diet initially as their body healed, but now they can eat pretty normally. Aside from maybe a very, very high fat meal might still bother them, but generally speaking, they can just, general healthy balanced meals that aren't really leaning really heavy towards fat, they do just fine. But yeah, I'm glad that you're working with a dietitian. That's always my concern with that, because you had surgery. If you weren't being referred, that would be a big concern. But a lot of times I just hear from people who like call me up and want to work with me, and I'm like, how has this person not been referred to a dietitian? It's like they've been having problems and they're calling me up, and I'm like, your doctor, for whatever XYZ medical condition should have a dietitian they are referring their patients to. Like, you should have been sent to someone right away. And also, like, they might be calling for something that I don't work with. They're just like any profession, dietitians have specialties, and it's like, why aren't people being referred? So I'm glad that you were referred to someone that can help you out. Oh, Jenin has not personal experience, but their mom had gallstones. Even though she had her gallbladder removed, she still gets some gallstones. Yeah, and it really varies from person to person too, because there's different types of gallstones. There's some that are more common than others, and then also the size of the gallstones and everything. Every situation's a little bit different. Okay, as I'm rolling these, I see that I have like a bigger variation than normal in the size. I think it's because I was trying to do it and talk at the same time, and I wasn't really paying attention to what I was doing, but that's okay. We'll be fine. Okay. So you can see I'm just kind of rolling them into these little discs that we will put in the tortilla press. Oh, Slightly Vegan says, are we making corn or flour tortillas? We are making corn tortillas. So far we have gotten some fish marinating, and then we mixed up the corn and water mixture, and now we're rolling out our tortillas before we put them in the tortilla press to cook them. And I don't know, this is work, obviously, and it takes time. So like I said at the beginning, you don't have to do this, but I do enjoy it. I like the end result, and I think too, like, it's kind of like it's a little therapeutic, because it's not something you really have to think about. You're just sitting here doing your little tortillas. I think it's nice to have some kind of task where, like, you don't have to be actively thinking. You're just kind of like, but you're still creating something. I think that's nice. Oh, Jenin's going out to dinner for birthday celebrations. Fun, but you're gonna have to leave. Okay, well, I'm glad that you were able to hang out at least for a little bit. Happy birthday. And I hope that you have a nice dinner with your family. Slightly Vegan says, I have about 50% success rate with flour tortillas, mostly baking soda issues. Yeah, I haven't tried to make flour tortillas in a long time. But I don't remember if I had any specific problems. The recipe I used was from a blog called 100 Days of Real Food. That's actually where I first got the idea to make tortillas. It was a blog that I read in college, and basically it was just a mom who, like, saw that her family wasn't eating very well, so they kind of went on this extreme challenge to only eat what they defined as quote-unquote real food. It was kind of like a pretty extreme, like, okay, we're not doing what we want to be doing, so we're going to go the total opposite direction, and we're making everything from scratch and whatever. But, over the process of the year, she posted, and now that's kind of mainly what the blog's about, is recipes. She posted a lot of recipes. She has a couple cookbooks, too. But I used her recipe, and I really liked it. I also like her pancake recipe is good. I also like her banana bread, because it's not super sweet. Most banana breads are more like cake-like, which is fine if that's what you want, but a lot of times I just want something that's not so sweet. So I really like her banana bread recipe too. And I think her cookbooks are good for people who are very inexperienced with cooking. It's a lot of good basics. I see some reviews sometimes for her cookbook. Well, when her first cookbook came out, I haven't got her second one, but I saw a lot of reviews that are like, who needs a recipe for XYZ? What, like, I can't believe this says a recipe in this book. What a waste of money. I'm like, well, obviously the cookbook wasn't for you. Like, for someone who doesn't know what they're doing, they might need a recipe for something very basic. So it's good if you have very limited cooking skills, I would say, her cookbooks. But, you can find fun recipes for lots of different things on her website. I haven't been to her website in a long time, but those recipes are still kind of staples for me, the pancake recipe and the banana bread. Okay, I've got these rolled. I'm gonna wash my hands again because as you can see, they're like crusted up with corn flour stuff. Okay. Let's see if anyone said, oh, are we back? Hello? Looks like we lost some people. Let's see. Can you guys hear me? Hello, hello. Please type in the chat if you can. Okay, good. Natalie says we're back. Awesome. I don't know what happened. It was just like reconnecting, reconnecting, reconnecting. That was weird, but I'm glad you guys are here. Okay, I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, I was trying to turn the camera to show you guys the pans. So we have got so much stuff. You can kind of see them over there. There's 2 cast iron pans over there. So we're going to be cooking the tortillas in those, but it's not too interesting. So I'll probably keep us turned this way. We'll see. Maybe we'll turn over there. We'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to get these just heating up right now over medium heat. That will take a little bit of time. And we can chat for a little while that is happening. Okay, let me see what I missed. Oh, Slightly Vegan says, I always struggle with pressing the corn tortillas. They stick like crazy. Okay, oh, and Susan says, I hear you, but buffering a lot tonight. Huh. Has this been, let me know, have you guys been getting issues throughout the stream, all of you? Let me know in the comments. Because on my end, I just got that first one just now. But if it's been like laggy or jumpy, let me know. Or glitchy or something. So let's talk about the tortilla press while you guys, because we're on a delay. So it's going to take a little while for you guys to let me know what the quality is like. But this is the tortilla press I have. It's linked to my Amazon store. So the knives I use, this, like a lot of my favorite kitchen tools are linked there. The link is below the video in the description. So, you know, open the description up. And if you're interested in any of this stuff, you can go over there and find it. And it's also a way, so it's, you know, Amazon affiliate situation. So when you purchase through there, it's a way you can support the channel because you pay the same price to Amazon that you normally would, but I get a small percentage of it for referring you there, which I think is pretty cool. So this is the tortilla press I use. There's a lot of different ones. And then to prevent sticking, I use parchment paper. So I just ripped off a piece and then kind of tore it in half. And I put it on the plates like this. And that seems to do it. The other thing it might be is too much water in your batter. Sometimes if I make my batter with a little too much water, it gets sticky and then they are harder to pull off the thing. Hopefully that doesn't happen tonight, but that's what I have found to work. Natalie says that was the only buffer for her. Okay. Hopefully we're good. Fingers crossed that we don't have any technical difficulties become a real problem. Okay, let's see how these pans are doing. The one heats up a lot faster, so I think we're going to go ahead and press our tortillas. So I will, let me see. How do I want to do this? I'll put the tortilla press on the cutting board, and then I'll slide this over, and then I'll turn the camera down so y'all can see the situation. Okay, that should work. You move this forward a little bit too. I like this setup with the being able to move the camera, but it's also a little, because it's nice, but it's also a little annoying to make sure that, you know, you guys are seeing what you want to be seeing. Okay, let's see how that does. Turn it this way a little bit. Scoot this way a little bit. Okay, I think we're pretty good. So the way this works is we're going to take one of the little dough hockey pucks. Oh, and this is good. This is not going to hit the camera. Okay, we flip over the other end. Then we take this handle, let me scoot this up. So there's a handle here that we flip over, and then that presses it. And then we open it back up, open up the top, peel this off, and there we go. We have a nice tortilla. Now you don't have to have a tortilla press to do this, but it makes it much, much easier than using something else, I find. And then, oh, we're sticking a little bit. See, even I have trouble with it, and I've done this a lot. And my batter might have been too wet. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that's one tortilla. We're going to put this in the pan, and we're just going to keep cranking them because these pans are heating up. Oh, no, it ripped. Oh, okay. this is what's happening. So see, it doesn't work out perfect for me either. I think my batter's too wet, which is what I was afraid might happen. So when that happens, you know what we do? We roll it again because it's not about being perfect. We're gonna make it work. We're gonna press it again. I'm gonna try to press it a little bit thicker this time. That also helps. If they get super thin, that's another reason they can tear or be a little bit hard to work with. See, that one's already doing better because it's a little bit more sturdy. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna pop this in one of the skillets, and we're just gonna crank these out. That's one, and I can fit about 3 in the smaller skillet I have, and then usually around 5 in the larger one. So we'll have both of these going at the same time so that we can make them faster. All right, another dough ball in the thing. Press. Sorry it makes that awful squeaking noise. I'm sure that isn't nice for your ears. There we go. Okay. 3 down, 27 to go. So we're gonna be doing a lot of this. But they really do go pretty fast because I have 2 pans going at the same time when we're cooking about 8 at a time. The smaller skillet, they cook a little bit faster because that one's also a little bit thinner, the cast iron is. So it heats up a little faster. The other one, it takes a little bit longer, but that's okay. So we will just let them do their thing and take them off as we need. Oh, Slightly Vegan asked about the dough. Yeah, it's just the masa, corn flour, and water. That's it. So it's really easy to mix up too, which is nice. And you don't need a bunch of ingredients. As long as you have the corn flour, that's all you need, and a reliable source of water, and you're good to go. And you guys can let me know, like, is this fun to watch? Do you like watching this crank out? Otherwise, I can turn the camera up while we're talking. That's kind of up to you and what you want. I know sometimes it's nice to kind of watch a methodical, I don't know, something getting done, but you can tell me what you want. Susan says you're clipping right along. Yeah, so once you kind of get the hang of it, they're easy to do. Okay, so that's our first batch. So those are cooking. I'm gonna turn the camera back up first, and then I'll go rinse my hands. Because now we gotta wait for these to cook, and then we can get some more in the pan. All right, we're pretty stable. There. Okay. Let's see. Nita says you're so fast. Yeah, once you get a good, like, pace going, they do come together pretty quickly. And like I said, it does take time, so that's something you have to account for. But it's not like it's super hard either. And you have this little bit of downtime here while they're cooking. Okay. Oh, Slightly Vegan says my problem is probably too wet of dough. Yeah, I would say try a little less water next time. That definitely makes a big difference. Speaking of water, I'm not drinking enough. Okay, let's see how these are doing. I can sit for a little bit longer. Alright, well, now we're at a little bit of a lull in the cooking stage, so if you guys have questions, this is a good time for questions, whether they're cooking questions or nutrition questions or just fun questions, unrelated. That can also be fun, depending on what the question is, I guess. Oh, Susan says, any new kitchen tools or food products? Have I gotten anything recently? Trying to think. No, for the kitchen tools. I'm pretty confident. Well, I got that, the paella pan and the gas burner, if you haven't seen that video, where I make the Korean spicy chicken, the dak galbi. That's a few videos back. And I also had a video about seasoning that. So those are kind of new-ish. Though I'm feeling much more comfortable with them, and since that first video where we cooked with it, I've made that recipe now a couple times, and I have got it perfected. Well, not perfected. I think there's always room for improvement. But I'm not burning on the pan anymore. I figured out the right ratios of things and how much oil and all kinds of stuff. And so it's not being a burnt up mess. So it just needed a few tries. And that's the case with a lot of recipes, especially if it's something like different from something you've ever made before or different equipment. Sometimes it takes a few times. So that's another thing. If you make something and it doesn't turn out right, don't, totally throw it out. Unless obviously it was like just a total disaster. But if it just wasn't quite right, like I was having the issues with the burning, sometimes it takes a couple tries before you figure it out. Okay, so these are starting to get a little brown on this side, so now we're just going to flip them so they can cook on the other side. We'll just let those go. Slightly Vegan says, I now drink out of a mason jar after seeing you do it. It's a revelation. Yeah, they're great glasses because they are sturdy. It's not something that's going to break easily or delicate. They're cheap. And also, if you need I don't know why you need to know, but if you need to measure for some reason, or maybe you want to do a mixture of something, I don't know. It's nice because you can measure with them. I use these for measuring cups a lot because the measuring cups I have, some of the numbers have started to wear off, but these are, molded into the glass, and you've got milliliters, you've got ounces and cups on the other side. They're perfect. I love a good mason jar. I think something needs to be flipped again. Let's see. Maybe these are done. No? Okay. Let's see if I can get another question in before I start taking things off. What foods are good to eat if you have arthritis and fibromyalgia? So there's nothing specific for those conditions, other than, generally speaking, I would say just anti-inflammatory stuff. Fruits and vegetables, whole grain, just a general healthy diet. Also, omega-3s are great for anti-inflammatory, so getting sources of omega-3s in your food, omega-3 rich seafood is good, so tuna, salmon, different things like that can be good. And, possibly an omega-3 supplement, that sometimes people will do that. Those are kind of general things, anti-inflammatory. If your vitamin D is low, having your vitamin D checked and maybe doing that could also be good, just for general anti-inflammatory purposes. Okay, so the ones on the thin pan are starting to get brown on the edges, so we're going to take those off. And I'm going to get 3 more going in the smaller pan. The ones in the big pan, we're going to do their first flip right now. So as you can see, these are done, and I'm just flipping the ones in the thicker pan, just because they take a little bit longer to cook. Okay. I'm going to crank some out for the small pan, and we will do more questions. I'd also, if you guys, some of you have shared some fun personal news, or if you have anything going on, I always like to hear that too. Okay. All right. In the pan we go. Maybe I will turn this so you guys can see, since now we're mostly working with stuff in the pans and not really the cutting board. There we go, that's good. And I think you guys have the idea of how the tortilla press works. 2. And then we fit a little bit bigger one. Do 3. Hope you guys like this close-up of the collar of my shirt. Okay. There we go. Maritza, mentioning curry. How can I make a curry without a recipe? Can I just use turmeric as a curry spice? Okay, curry without a recipe. Here's what you're going to do. DoctorYum.org. DoctorYum.org. It's a nonprofit that I work with, and we have a tool on the website called the Meal-O-Matic, and there is a curry maker on there. So the Meal-O-Matic is a framework. It has 7 different recipe frameworks, and so there's stir fry, curry, soup, salad, all kinds of different stuff. You pick the one that you want, and then it guides you through. You select the things you have on hand in your house or your pantry, refrigerator, maybe what you got at the farmer's market or what's on sale at the grocery store, whatever. You put in what you want to use, and then it generates a custom recipe for you. So if you want to make a curry, there's a red curry, a green curry, and an Indian style curry option on there. And then of course all the other stuff in the makers. So dryum.org, Meal-O-Matic. Maritza's also asking about psoriasis. I mean, anti-inflammatory food, anytime you're having inflammation, having anti-inflammatory stuff is good. Psoriasis, definitely work with a dermatologist for that for sure. Or, you know, and also, you know, anytime you're having weird reactions, it might be that you need to see, I don't know if you have or not, but, you know, an allergist or someone who can test you to see if you're having an adverse reaction to something specific or what's going on. And then, of course, just generally for, like, skin, vitamin C is important for collagen development. Healthy fats are important. And then something that actually, speaking of skincare, I have been trying out some new skincare stuff, and I'm really, really happy with how my skin has been looking, but sometimes I still get issues. I have very sensitive skin, so I haven't played around with a lot of skincare stuff in the past, because even stuff for sensitive skin usually gives me some sort of rash or something. But I have found some stuff that's been working for me. Actually, a lot of the Korean skincare has been working because I guess their formulas are generally more gentle. And so it's been really fun because I'm actually able to like try stuff out again. Or not again, for the first time ever. But I had this weird thing happen last week where my skin was really irritated, and I'm not really sure why. But one thing that, now obviously this is just me, stuff that I'm doing. I saw it on YouTube actually, and I didn't have like psoriasis or something. It was, you know, just some irritation. But I soaked some oats in water for about 30 minutes and then strained out the liquid, and then I dipped a little cotton pad in that and used that kind of like to clean my face. And I also did like a little mask, like I soaked some of the cotton pads in it and then put them on my face. And I've been using it every day instead of toner. I've been using the oat water and just kind of making more of it as I need it and then keeping it in the fridge. And I don't know if it's just time that helped and it would have gotten better anyways, but I thought it was pretty soothing, and I think it may have helped. So that has been a new find for me that I'm really happy with. It's just the oat water, which makes sense, right? I mean, oats generally are good for that kind of thing when you have, you know, when you're a kid and you have some sort of skin thing going on, like chicken pox or something, you take oat baths. So I really like that. And it's, you know, it's cheap. It's something I already have. I already have oats, you know, rolled oats in the house and just water. Okay. More tortillas going in the pan. So now, so we've made 2 batches in the small skillet when the first batch in the big skillet just came out. So that kind of shows you the difference, at least for my 2 pans, and the thickness that they, of each one. Let's do this one. It's also a little bit, you gotta learn how to gauge how many tortillas you can fit in your pan and also the different sizes. Because like I said, you know, mine are irregular. There's some smaller ones and some larger tortillas. So, okay, that's small pan. Now let's do the big pan. So this is like a pretty giant one, so we're gonna put this in the big pan. Trying to take stock of what I have here. I think we can do another one of these big ones. In you go. And then do this one too. Let's see. Ooh, you guys got quiet all of a sudden. I'm trying to think if I have any other like big updates. I mean, as you guys have seen, I've been kind of chilling out on the channel a bit. I'm not posting with the frequency that I was in the past, but I'm happy about it. I don't know how you guys feel. I mean, I don't want you guys to feel like, you know, you're missing stuff or whatever, but I had gotten to a point where I was and you guys know this if you've been hanging out for a while, I was kind of getting a little, not frustrated with YouTube, but I've just kind of had lost my, I don't know, enthusiasm or something. It wasn't that I wasn't happy, but I didn't have that, like, I don't know, that, like, yeah, excitement. So, you know, I've been posting a little less. I've been trying to just make stuff I want to make and not necessarily, like, I have to put a video out today and I have to come up with something because the video has to go up. And I think it's helped me chill out a little bit, have a little bit more fun, not feel like I just have to be, like, kind of on this hamster wheel, just, like, churning stuff out to churn it out. So it's brought me to a little bit of a healthier place, which means not as many videos happening right now, and also because I've been super busy, but it means I'm a lot happier, and I think it's going to help me in the long run to continue making videos, because I'm trying to prevent myself from getting burnt out, because that is a big problem when you're kind of making stuff all the time. You can start to get a little, you know, as you guys know, because a lot of YouTubers have to take breaks and stuff because they just run themselves into the ground. So I'm trying to not do that. The thing about this live stream, it's a lot of tortillas cooking, y'all. Flip that. Flip that one. But we will get there. And then once we have almost all the tortillas done, then we will make one of these pans the fish pan. And we will cook the fish just in the same skillet. So we're not using a bunch of pans, and the end of the pan will already be hot. And then we can just rock and roll with it. Okay, so we need some small ones for the small pan. One. Two. This will be the third. Okay, now let me know. I would like to hear, I haven't asked this in a while, what are some YouTube channels that you guys are really loving right now? Oh, sorry, that was loud. What are some channels that you guys are into? Because I think I asked this maybe even like 6 months or more ago. And if you're anything like me, your channel's changed a little bit. So I'd be interested to know. Oh, and it looks like we have a comment. Susan says, where is your favorite place for recipes? Now, I don't use a ton of recipes, so that's the first thing. Ellie Krieger is great. Any of her cookbooks, I have several. The Food You Crave, her first one, that holds a special place in my heart because I use that a lot. That's how I taught myself to cook, was with a lot of those recipes. So I'm very familiar with that cookbook. I've made a lot of stuff out of there. She's a dietitian. You may have seen her on the Food Network because she has had a show there in the past. And her recipes are always delicious. No, they're always good. No matter what you make, you know it's going to be good before you make it. So I love her stuff. Also, dryum.org, the nonprofit I work with. I think we have a lot of great recipes on our website. So if you need recipes, and if you want to see my face floating around, I'm on there, and some videos and stuff on the website. But lots of good recipes there, and you can filter too based on like meal, or if you need, you know, if you have certain dietary restrictions, or you know, there's all kinds of different ways you can filter the recipes, which is also nice. So dryum.org. What else? I said I don't use a lot of recipes. Those are probably my top 2 favorites. Anything from Ellie Krieger, dryum.org, both good. Okay. But yeah, so what YouTube channels are you guys watching? Right now, what do I watch a lot of? I watch a lot of DK TV. They are 2 Korean guys who do content in English about like K-pop and Korean news and Korean media and stuff like that. I really like them, and I'm actually a supporter on their Patreon too, because I love what they do and I want to make sure that they can keep doing it, you know, full time, because while they do make some money from YouTube, you know, for it to be their full-time gig, it's not enough. So they're someone that I support on Patreon because I get so much out of their videos. I'm like, here, please take my money. I want you to keep doing this. let's see, let's put in these small ones. So I'm watching a lot of that. I watch a lot of Talk to Me in Korean because I'm currently learning Korean. What do I watch that's not Korea related? I'm trying to think. I feel like when I look through my subscriptions, like I know what I want to watch, but when I think about it, I can't think about it. Oh, MKBHD. I love his stuff for tech videos. So I watch him. I watch Philip DeFranco, though I haven't been watching him daily here lately, but I still watch a lot of his stuff, a good chunk of his stuff. Whenever Shane Dawson comes out with new stuff, I watch that. But he hasn't done anything in a little while. He's been on a little break. Okay, so I think these are probably the last ones we're going to do in the small pans. And once I get this big pan filled up, then I'll look at your comments. So keep putting them in there about what stuff you like. And also, I'd be interested to know, you can just give a yes or no, or you can share more if you'd like to. Do you guys use Patreon or support anyone on Patreon? Because it's something that, like, I'm very aware of, and I support people there. But I'm always, like, I don't know how much, like... you know, because I'm kind of on the inside, like, obviously I'm a creator, so it makes sense I'd be aware that Patreon exists. But I'd be curious if you guys support anyone on Patreon. Okay. Let's just let that go, and then we'll do the last ones. Oh, and this means if these are almost done, we gotta get ready to cook our fish. Okay, let me look at your comments, and then we're gonna be in fish cooking territory. Susan watches TED Talks, university lectures, that's fun. Purse making, oh, that's really cool. Many YouTube interests, that's awesome. Slightly Vegan says that they support some creators on Patreon. I love Patreon, I think it's cool. It's just, I don't know, it's a nice way to, also to connect with those people deeper. I really like it. I think it's a cool service too, like to create that platform and have it available for people. Okay. Let those go a little bit longer. So let me go get the fish. Let's see. Alright, so our fish, it doesn't look any different, it's just kind of been hanging out. But what we're going to do is we're going to put this in the pan and let it cook. And I'm also probably just going to pour all this marinade in because I want all that flavor in there, and it'll just cook off, and it'll just be in there. Oh, Susan supports a couple of acrylic artists. That's so fun. That's the other thing I love about YouTube and Patreon. But, you know, there's so many interests, and there's so many areas of YouTube that I watch that you guys probably are not plugged into at all, like all the K-pop stuff. Well, maybe some of you are. But also, like, I'm not, like, plugged into the purse-making community on YouTube, or acrylic artists or whatever. I just love that we're able to connect with so many people with varied interests. It's very exciting. I don't know why I'm going on a, like, why YouTube is great. But it is. It's really cool. And I get to hang out with you guys while I'm making my dinner, and we just get to chat and cook food, and I'm just, you know, using my cell phone. I think it's amazing. Okay. So now, let's turn this down a little bit. We're going to put the fish in here. Warning, it may make a very loud noise. It probably will. So we'll see what happens and how well you can hear me. But we're going to put these in the pan. I think we can fit it all in there. We'll find out. Okay. I'll try not to burn myself in the process. Alright, we're going to pour all of this in here. There we go. I'm going to wash my hands. Oh, there goes the smoke detector. Yeah, I know. we don't like that. Let me try to take care of this. Which one is it? Oh. This one? I'm just walking around fanning the smoke detectors. Don't mind me. Okay. So, fish is cooking. Oh my goodness. If there was an actual fire, I'm sure it wouldn't go off. But because I'm cooking dinner, this is the real life fun of cooking live streams, is my smoke detector going off. Okay, so the fish is in there. I have a splatter screen on here too, just to prevent splattering, and also to keep some of the heat in there and help it cook. Turn it down a little bit lower. All right, these are done, so we're gonna get our last batch of tortillas in this pan. Let our fish cook, and we'll talk about some more things. Oh, Susan says, where did you get your cod? So I just got it frozen. I do a lot of my most of my grocery shopping at Wegmans. Like you guys see in my grocery hauls. So I got it at Wegmans in the frozen section. And you know, frozen fish is great. It's cheap. You can keep it in your freezer. You have it when you need it. And a good thing to know is that a lot of times the fish that you see just like in the fish counter, it's just frozen fish that they have thawed out. Not always, but if it has been just thawed out, it'll say like from frozen or previously frozen or something like that. But it's more expensive and you got to use it like the next day before it goes bad. So if you're buying fish, getting it in the counter isn't always better. And frozen is very convenient. So I just thawed that out before the live stream and then marinated it at the beginning, like you guys saw. Okay, final tortillas in the pan, fish is cooking. So, excuse me. Now we are done. Let me turn this up a little bit. Now we are done with the tortilla press. So I'm gonna get rid of my parchment paper and get rid of the press. Put this away. Okay. Let's see where we have left off. Do you worry about where the fish was caught? Asked Deborah. Yes, I do. So one thing I think it's getting better. At least Wegmans, they're trying to do better as far as where the fish is coming from. One resource you can use is the what is it? It's called Seafood Watch, but I think it's from the San Francisco Bay Aquarium, I want to say. And they have an app, they have a website, and they will let you know like which fish are good options, which are not great options, what are good alternatives for ones that maybe aren't great options, and it gives you the reasoning why it's not a great option. So that's a good resource to have for that. Slightly Vegan says, is there quality salmon in the frozen food aisle? I think so. I can get like really good wild caught salmon. At least in my store. I mean, you gotta look around, but like I said, a lot of the times the stuff you're seeing on the counter is just frozen stuff that they thawed out anyways. Okay. See how our fish is doing. I think we can flip these tortillas. So let's talk about some other things we have going on while the tortillas are finishing, while the fish is cooking, and of course if you have other comments or questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Okay, so the next thing I have here, I have to dry this off a little bit. Beans. So, like a lot of you know, a lot of times we just do black bean tacos, and don't do any sort of meat at all. But, tonight we're doing the fish, but Jason's still, I would skip the beans, maybe, but Jason says we should always have them because it's always nice to have another thing, and beans are great, whatever, so he's right about that. So last time, I guess the last time I made tacos, I made a lot of beans, and I didn't need them all, which is a good thing to do, like just make extra. It doesn't take any more time to just make a bigger pot of beans. And I put spices in there, cumin, coriander, probably some smoked paprika, salt, a bay leaf, I would think, maybe some chili powder, all that kind of stuff. And the leftovers I put in this mason jar. froze it and just, labeled it on the top with the name and the date. And so now, tonight, we don't have to make beans. I just pull them out of the freezer and let them thaw out, and they're good to go. So we're also going to heat some of these up on the side. But, when you're cooking something, usually making a little extra is well worth it, because it's not that much more time. You're not having to get everything out again twice. No, you're already doing it. Just do a little bit more, and then you can have it either in the freezer for later. You might have just, when you're chopping, chop some stuff for kids' lunch or whatever as well. Or chop some extra things that you could use in the recipe tomorrow or whatever. Just doing a little bit more can save you time in the long run. And also help you on those days when, like, you're in a pinch. If I hadn't planned to use these, they were still down in the freezer. Maybe there was a night where we could have just pulled these out and used them as part of a dinner when we were trying to pull something together. So that's good too. Okay, so that's done. Tortillas are all piled up here now on a plate and ready to go. And let's see if let me find a spatula. And let me see what you guys are seeing. Slightly Vegan says refreeze cycles are horrible for fish, right? Yeah, just in general, if something's already been thawed, you don't want to refreeze it, because what's happening is between 40 Fahrenheit and 140 Fahrenheit is like the danger zone for food. That's when bacteria and stuff can grow. So you either want your stuff cooler than 40 or hotter than 140, right? So if something is frozen and then is coming up into that, unfrozen state, then it's out at room temperature, or you cook it or whatever, even if it's just thawed, you don't want to take it back down. You don't want to be coming in it, because it's already gone into the danger zone. It needs to be used. So you don't want to refreeze things after they've been thawed, because they've already been out, they've gone down, it's just not a good idea for food safety. Okay, I am going to check on this fish real quick. Make sure this isn't too hot. You guys can kind of see it's in there, it's cooking. Let's just see if it wants to come away from the pan. I feel like it's still sticking a little bit, so we will leave it to cook some more, because it does not seem like it wants to be moved right now. Deborah says, I struggle with digesting beans. I have IBS. Is there anything you do, special way of soaking, kombu, etc., for ease of digestion? There's nothing I do. I don't personally have any sort of digestive issues like that. So I can't recommend anything specifically. Sometimes it's just, kind of like seeing what foods work for you. I know there is some sort of herb. I don't remember what it's called. But I think in maybe a lot of South American cuisine, it's used when people cook beans, and it's supposed to help make it easier to digest. I don't know what the science is behind that. I just know it's more of a culinary tradition. But that might be something to look into, potentially. But I don't know if it actually works, what the mechanism would be, if it would help with your situation, anything like that. So that's more of a speculation, not like my knowledge as a dietitian, if that makes sense. Susan says, I've had mushy frozen fish, was not happy. Yeah, anytime something has been like totally destroyed, not good. Okay, other things we're having tonight. We also have guacamole. This is something I would have made on the live stream, but I already had some, so there wasn't really reason to make more. But I've made it on lots of other live streams where we've done tacos, so if you really want to see me make guacamole, you can go back and see that. But basically, what's in here is just avocados, cilantro, onion, garlic, lime juice, salt. I think that's everything. If it was pepper season, I would have put a hot pepper in there, but we don't have any around, so we're not doing that. Let's check our fish. Okay, fishies. I don't think it wants to move. It's a waiting game with the fish. It's trying to heat up a little bit. Okay. Well, another thing we can do then is get greens ready. So, let me get this here. A lot of times I do cabbage on tacos, but I don't have any cabbage. Tonight we're going to do some lettuce. So I have some spring mix here, and we're just going to chop this up. Well, Yeah, because these pieces are kind of big. I want some sort of green veggie, something that's a little fresh, a little crunch, all that kind of stuff. And we have this, so this is what we're going to use. So I'm just going to run my knife through this really quickly to give us a little bit of that, you know, fresh. And the color, too, will be really nice of the greens and the purples of this. So, where did I put my knife? Y'all, I have so many things all around. Okay, so I'm going to run my knife through these. And this has already been washed. I washed this earlier in the week when we had salad night. I'm just going to give it a rough chop so it's easier for us to, you know, sprinkle it on our tacos. Okay. And that's another thing when you're making food, like you want to think about flavors. You also want to think about having a variety of colors so it looks pretty when you're eating it, but also a variety of texture. So you don't want everything to be like mushy or something, or everything, you know, it's nice to have the soft things and the crunchy things and all that kind of stuff. All right, fish. It is your time. I'm hoping. We're going to see what we can do. All right, here we go. Flip. Try this one. I'm trying to like keep it open so you guys can see what's happening. Normally I would just have, well, I wonder if I could come around this way? I don't know if that's really better because now my arm's in the way. I don't know. I'm flipping fish. You guys get the idea. There we go. Well, that one fell apart. That one needed more time. I didn't listen to it. That's my fault. Because I'm in a hurry. Because I want you guys to be able to see the tacos. Okay. We're going to let that continue to cook a little bit. And we can talk more questions that you guys might have. Let's see. Rita says, I have an apple pie that was thawed. What can I do if I want to eat it but put it back in the freezer again? Supply that a rule concerning proteins. Yeah, the danger zone thing is for everything. So, you know, if you have something thawed, if you can't finish it, you know, or whatever, and it's still good to eat, give it to a friend. I don't think a friend would ever be sad to get some free food. Yeah. Oh, Nita asked, what's your specialty as a dietitian? So what I do is I work a lot with people who are trying to make healthy habit changes. So maybe someone, you know, who doesn't have a medical condition or something like that, but is just looking to eat healthier, but they don't know how to do it and they need some help. So I would do that. I also do like intuitive eating work. So for people who maybe have a history of dieting, I don't work with eating disorders, but if someone has like a history of dieting, maybe their relationship with food is kind of messed up because of that, and they're trying to get back to a more intuitive place, not do dieting anymore. Or maybe someone who maybe even, you know, I mean, I feel like almost everyone kind of needs that help nowadays because we're so much surrounded by diet messaging. So someone like that who's wants to eat healthy and take care of themselves, but also has a lot of diet stuff going around their head and needs help kind of getting through that. And then I also work with families. So a lot of times with my work with the Dr. Yum Project, there's a lot of stuff working with kids and parents, talking to parents about how to teach kids about food, how to get kids involved in the cooking process, how to raise kids that are going to have a healthy, varied diet as they get older and become adults. So healthy habit change, intuitive eating, getting out of diet land, and then kids and families are kind of my 3 areas where I do a lot of work. Okay, fish is cooking. I think the fish is going to be done soon, so I'm going to get a bowl for that, and then I'm going to, we'll start getting some tacos put together, and you guys can see the final product. I've got a couple more questions. So we will do those too. Alright, you know what we should do is heat up some of the beans. So I've got a little dish here. So we're not going to use all these beans tonight. So I'm just going to heat some up in this dish for us to pull from. Because again, we don't want to heat this up and then try to be cooling it back down. just pull some, and then as we're eating dinner, if we need more, we can pull some more. We also probably won't need as much because we're not just having the beans, you know, we're also having the fish, so maybe we'll start with that. Pour in a little bit of the liquid too, so that's where all the spices are hanging out. Okay. Get a paper towel. Okay, I'm gonna pop this in the microwave real quick and just get these heated up, which hopefully will not take very long. Those are going. What else do I have? I also have a little bit of Frank's Red Hot here because I love my hot sauce, so we'll put some of that on. Let me get a spoon and a guacamole. Here's a spoon. Let me go grab a plate. Okay, so I think we had a couple more questions. I'll look at those while the fish is finishing and the beans are heating. Onita says, I'm allergic to sauerkraut, but I can have cabbage. What's in the sauerkraut that I could be allergic to? And I know you know because you know all things. Well, I don't know all things, but I try to know as much as I can. Maybe, I mean, can you have other fermented foods? Like, what about yogurt? Or kimchi? Or kombucha? Because I was thinking maybe it's the, like, lactic acid bacteria? And is it an allergy? Like you've been tested and it's an allergy, or like you have, like, or is it like your stomach doesn't feel good? Because that's different. So yeah, that would be the only thing if you're somehow allergic to those like good bacteria. But those are already on the food. They're just being developed to higher amounts. Marita's asking about the pie. Would I be able to eat if it was semi-thawed or frozen still? I would want to have it still. I mean, if it's still frozen, then it's fine. It's just you don't want to take things that are frozen and then thaw them and then refreeze them and then thaw them and refreeze. It's not good for food safety. But, you know, maybe even if you can't finish it or you have to give it away, pie is great anytime. So you could always just get more pie next time you're at the store or at a restaurant or whatever. Or if someone made it for you, you could make a pie. That would be fun. Susan says so much buffering. Oh no! Is anyone else having the buffering problem? So that would let us know maybe, I mean, we know I had a bad connection issue earlier, but maybe Susan's connection also isn't great. Alright, fish, you're coming out of here. See, our fish is all flaky and pretty. So I'm just going to put all this in a bowl, and then we can kind of scoop out chunks. I lost a piece. I should have put probably some oil in this pan other than what was just on the fish. I thought that would be enough, but it doesn't look like it was. We've got some stuff sticking in here. It's not a big deal, but, you know, if we could prevent that, that would be better. Alright, let's get these last little bits out. Alright, that's good. And I can work with that a little bit more too later. Ooh, come here, little piece of fish. Get that on the burner. Okay, we've got our fish. The beans just finished. Let me pick up this fish that fell on the floor before I step on it. Set that to the side. And let's make a taco. Okay, beans out of the microwave. Get a slotted spoon for those. So, taco situation. I usually start off with around 4 or so tacos, but you know, I almost always get more. It just depends. Sometimes I'm more hungry, sometimes I'm less hungry. So sometimes I might just have 4, sometimes I might have 8. It just really depends. But I just listen to my body and whatever it says goes. Okay, let me get a fork for the fish. Or maybe a spoon? Maybe a spoon. So I'll just make one right now so you guys can see. So you don't have to watch me make a whole plate of tacos, but I'm going to take a little bit of fish and put that on there. Might be a little too much. because I want to have room for my other stuff. That's the thing with tacos. You have to resist the urge to overfill. Like, you want to put so much stuff in there, but then it's too much. And you can't fit all the other things. Okay. So we've got our fish in there. I almost knocked over the hot sauce. Let's do some beans. Put some of those on top. Listen to that. Probably good. I see Nita also had a comment, so let me look at that. Nita says, yes on yogurt. Can't breathe if I eat sauerkraut. I don't like kombucha or kimchi. So I don't think I have an allergy to that, but I've tasted it and don't like it. I don't know then. There shouldn't be anything else in there. That's odd. I'm sorry if that's the case, and I don't have a better answer for you. I don't know everything, unfortunately. Okay, we've got the beans on there. Let's do a little bit of guacamole. Oh, Nita says the fish looks good, broken up or not. Thanks, exactly, and it's going on tacos. I'm gonna have to use my finger to get the guacamole off the spoon, so I'm gonna set this down. Okay. Guacamole. I will do the hot sauce next. The Franks. And you know, tacos is one of those dinners that you can make it again and again, but every time you make it, you can make it a little bit different, which is what I like about it. Got that. And then put some lettuce on top. And if you make tacos at home, you know, feel free to be creative and use whatever things you have or whatever you like. Okay, so there's our taco. And then we'll just wrap that out. Let's take a bite right now and see how it tastes, okay? Oh. Mmm! Very good. I'm very happy with that. Okay, dinner's made. I gotta get Jason in here and get us going on eating dinner. But it was fun hanging out with you guys. I hope you enjoyed the live stream and maybe learned something. And, you know, I always love talking to you guys. It's always fun. And I'm glad that we're back after missing last month. So hopefully we'll be back again next month. I don't foresee that we're going to miss it. I mean, I didn't miss a month for, like I said, like 2 years. So I think that's probably a fluke thing. But we'll be back again next month, first Thursday of the month, 5 p.m. as always, unless something changes. I do have some more new videos coming. I think I'm going to film maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I have some new stuff coming. So I'm excited for you guys to see that. I've got a Q&A coming. A lot of you submitted questions on Instagram and on the community tab on YouTube. If you want to submit a question for the Q&A, it's not too late. Go over to the community tab on my channel and you should see a post there. And if you have a question you want to submit, put it there and then, you know, you have a shot at it getting answered. I can't promise that I'll answer every single question, but I'll try to answer as many as I can. So that is there as well. Maritza's gonna try the curry this week. Great, awesome. I hope it turns out. If you make it, take a picture, tag me in it, let me know. Susan says the food looks good. Okay, good. I hope you guys are having a great morning or afternoon or evening or, you know, whatever time it is, wherever you guys are. I always like hanging out with you, and I will see you guys next time. Oh, Nita says, where's Jason? He's playing video games right now, but I'm gonna make him stop so we can eat dinner.